Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world heavyweight champion, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore with me here today. They call him the BOAT. We always want to give props where props are due. Guys, again, welcome inside. Hopefully you guys can ride along with us today. You got questions, you got comments. Make sure you drop them right there inside the box. But we got a whole lot to talk about as far as UFC. Brock Lesnar's name has been popping up all over the radar. His name has been mentioned all around the water cooler. So we definitely going to have to talk about where Brock Lesnar may land being a free agent now.
Right.
Having not signed, let's put it this way, having not signed just yet a contract with WWE, a renewal, so to speak. And the thing is, when your contract up, when you on Brock Lesnar's level, you wait till it expire. You know what I'm saying? You make sure that you get everything the way you want it going forward, because you can't look back and say, hey man, I want to redo that. You know what I mean? Hey, let's change that. It's not one of those type of deals, So my thing is, I like what Brock Lesnar is because they're talking about Bellator. They see something in Bellator over there for him with
Fedor. Yeah,
Emelianenko. And then you got Johnny Bones Jones there in the UFC. Of course, the WWE is something that's going to be still there left on the table for him if he wants to go that route. I saw Vitor Belfort called him out to a bare knuckle fight. You know what I mean? So everybody's trying to cash in, man, on Brock Lesnar. But I want to talk about something else. First and foremost, though, EY, Impact Wrestling. New TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Eric Young. Yeah. Boom. That is. Give EY his props, man. Give Eric Young his props. The brother been down in the trenches for a long time. Just grinding. Right. So and me personally, me and Eric Young, we never been like bosom buddies or anything like that. But when I see a guy like him out there grinding, working his butt off, just trying to be a part of the team, and then get a pat on the back, the nod, and the company say, Eric, we're gonna bless you. Hey man, I'm all in. I'm all in with that right there. So to see Eric Young become the Impact World Champion, let me just say, big props where props are due. And I'm happy for him. I just want to say that first and foremost.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Eric Young was a guy who I remember watching TNA back in the day, and at first you kind of think he's a little too goofy, right? Like he was a part of Team Canada, and when he would come out, I don't know if you remember this. This may have been right before you were there.
I don't remember it.
So when he would come out as a part of Team Canada, Scott D'Amore was leading him and Bobby Roode and Petey Williams down to the ring. They had this pyro, and every time the pyro would go off, he would jump like he was scared. And he kind of played this kind of schizophrenic type almost character, or whatever you want to call it. Very jumpy, very kind of zany. So I wasn't sure. But toward the end of his TNA run into his WWE NXT run, Eric Young became what you call a really, really good hand. The guy could go out there and work, and he could tell a great story, even in a short amount of time. You could give Eric Young 4 minutes, and he would still tell you a really good story in those 4 minutes because he understood his character. And I always think in wrestling, once you understand your character, you can do anything inside the ring. So for him to go back to Impact and now be the world champion over there, I think it makes a lot of sense. And he's going to be able to work with some of their younger talent who hasn't gotten that same opportunity that he has to work with some of the very, very best all around the world. And he can bestow some of that wisdom. They can sit under the Eric Young learning tree instead of the Booker T tree.
No, man, you're exactly right. And he fit in. He fit in at Impact. He fit in.
Sure.
He feel like he's, a guy that's tailor-made for a company like that. Not saying that he couldn't fit in at WWE as well, but like you just said right there, the guy got to vast knowledge of the business. He knows the game. Okay, let me just say that about Eric Young. He knows the game. He's one of those guys to where, okay, you want me to be, just a player? Okay, I'll be a player. Okay, you want me to play on the defense? Okay, I'll play on the defense. Okay,
right.
you want me punting the ball? Okay, I'll punt it. You know what I mean? I'm serious. He's
Right.
one of those type of guys, but he knows exactly what it takes to get to the next level. And for a lot of those young guys down in TNA, they need a guy like Eric Young. He is the guy to be one to sit under the learning tree, because he's a guy he's been all over the world. He's seen even the machine, WWE, as far as what that's like and how that works. And guys, if you planning on going there, be prepared to do X, Y, and Z, okay? Because it's totally different than any other system you're ever going to be a part of. And to have a guy like Eric Young to reaffirm that for those young guys, I tell you, when I was there, same thing. I told all of those guys, if they were ever thought about going to WWE, they better change their mindset. They better be ready to go and perform. There again, I told Bobby Roode, I said, man, cut the mullet, and get ready to go to work. Samoa Joe, I say, Samoa Joe, man, you brother, you got talent. Go see what happens. See how it works out for you. And you need someone like myself, telling these young guys, hey, man, this is what you're getting ready to run into. And you better be prepared, because preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have. And there again, big ups to Eric Young. What do you think this is going to do for his career? You think it's going to change anything?
Change anything? I don't know. Maybe reaffirm that he, because here's the thing. When you go through a situation, like, he didn't have, according to himself, the greatest experience toward the latter portion of his WWE career, right? And it happens to everybody. It doesn't mean anything particular about the company.
It was not because of him or anything like that.
Right. So I think, though, when you go through that, I'm sure there were times where Eric Young was doubting himself as a performer. And for him to go back to TNA and then only be there for a couple months, and they say, hey, we recognize your hard work. We recognize the value that you bring to this company, and we want to put the championship of this company on you as our standard bearer of Impact Wrestling. I think that does a lot for him from a psychological and confidence standpoint, and maybe for him at this point of his career, because he's got to be 20 plus in the game to say, okay, I'm still good enough to be the number one guy.
Yeah,
cool. I think that's what it does for him, and it puts him in a position that you were talking about, that you were glad to be in, to help craft and shape and mold the next generation of stars. So I think that Eric's probably super happy right now in the role that he's in, and I'm happy for him.
No, not only that, man. You remember what I said a couple of months back when the pandemic started, and a lot of guys got let go, and I said, man, a lot of these guys are going to end up, in TNA. I say the resurgence, the rebirth, the reboot of Impact Wrestling. Is this the beginning? You remember I said that? You remember?
Yes.
And now Impact Wrestling seemed to have a blip on the radar again. It seems like, I'm serious. It seems like they're a blip on the radar. I haven't been really, I'm not going to sit here and, try to make fun or try to pretend. I haven't been watching a whole lot or anything like that. Things on Access TV.
Mm-hmm.
I got to figure out, when to watch it. More importantly, because I think people want to hear about it. I think people love hearing us talk about other companies other than WWE. So I say, we are the duo that gives the people what they want. You know what I mean? So I think we should start talking more about Impact Wrestling. Like I say, the independent world out there, when something happens in the independent world, we got to report on it because people want to know.
And we got a lot of reality wrestling alumni over there in Impact right now. Kylie Ray, Kiera Hogan, just to name a few. So we got to keep our eyes over there. Yeah. Paula. Mm-hmm.
So I definitely got to start keeping up with those guys and what's going on over there. Scott D'Amore, I know he's at the head of the ship. He's kind of like the captain, you know. I was about to say something stupid, but I ain't gonna say it.
Don't get yourself caught up. You just got some goodwill with the people.
People all over the internet, they're gonna pick it up and they're gonna run with it. So I'm gonna just say, man, good job over there at TNA. You guys keep doing well, and I'm gonna keep reporting on you guys to see exactly how this company is holding up as far as this war go with WWE, AEW, and
AEW. Yeah. We got to talk about the war, because the war might be off. The war might be off. There might be different nights. It might not be head to head anymore.
Well, let's talk about it in a minute. We got to take a break, guys. We'll be right back. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. We just rolling, man. Just rolling, talking about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. We got some.
Can I tell you one thing though? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
But on Monday's show, we were talking, and I'm just gonna ask you a favor. Just moving forward for the rest of this season, hopefully, let's just not even bring up the Rockets, because I feel like whenever we talk about the Rockets, something bad happens. And I know that now I'm talking about them, but we have a game 7 tonight, and I'm nervous, so I don't even want it in my head. I'm not even going to watch. You know that? I'm not even going to watch tonight. I can't even do it.
You know what? I'm watching.
I know you are. You're watching with intent.
And this is something I definitely want to bring up, man. I want to talk to you about this, but the thing is, I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to say anything about it. I was just going to say, I'm just let bygones be bad. I'm going to keep quiet. Throw away the key. But since you brought it up, this is something that I've been talking about for the longest. And you was talking about, man, Westbrook, he back, everything's gonna be popping, everything's gonna be clicking. The game ain't, and I was looking at on I think First Take this morning, or Get Up, something this morning, they was talking about, if the Rockets lose tonight, is this the last year we see the Beard in Houston? And me personally, I think it should be. I really do. The Beard has been great for his brand. All right. James Harden, man, he come here, you know what I mean? Come here, from Oklahoma City?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. He come here from Oklahoma City, and he makes Houston his home. And we Houstonians, not most of us, well, not all of us, but a lot of us, as well as the Houston Rockets, banked on James Harden bringing a championship to this city.
Yeah.
And now, I know you've been a fan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You've been riding a ride or die. You know what I mean? You've been a James Hardener.
Okay. Yeah.
Hardener. Yeah, that's what you've been. You know what I mean? And you've been, hey man, I understand. It's your city. He's a guy, he's been going out there putting up some great numbers. MVP, yeah, man. You know what I mean? Shoot. The record and scoring, all of that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is great for his brand. But you measure, I think the career as far as in a player, especially in the sport like basketball as far as, championships.
I don't disagree.
And I'm going to tell you, and I say that because Patrick Ewing was one of the greatest players of all times, but you don't hear nothing about Patrick Ewing other than his humanitarian work. You don't hear nothing about what he did on the court. You know why? Because he didn't win no championships. And that's what James Harden is right now in his life, in his career, and for our city. We've won 0 championships since James Harden came to Houston, but he's padded his stats very, very well. He looked great on the court at times. You could say some in spurts. Man, James Harden is the greatest player in the history to ever, touch a basketball. I'm serious. You could actually make a case for that in spurts. But James Harden, as far as I'm concerned, has been a failure in the city of Houston as far as going out there and bringing not only himself to the dance, but a whole lot of players around him. James Harden has been very, very selfish over the years and thinking about himself and not thinking about the team. And I really feel like, if we don't win this game tonight, or if we don't win a championship this year, we should, say farewell to James Harden and start rebuilding and start thinking about that money that we've been spending on James Harden to get not a whole lot out of it.
Now, you said several things there. Some I agree with, some I don't. Do I think that James Harden is selfish? I don't know if I agree with that assessment per se, but I do agree with this. If James Harden's mission was to win a championship, which he said that several times throughout his tenure here in Houston, he has yet to do that. So from that aspect, he's 100% a failure. Absolutely. You can't measure that any other way. I think that some of the criticisms of James Harden are well-founded. When that game 6 the other night, last minute of the game, he didn't want anything to do with the basketball. That's a problem. If you're the best player on the team, I want the ball in your hands all the time in those positions. You don't give the ball to Russell Westbrook and let him bring it up the court when he's been a turnover machine all game. You got to read your teammates, and you got to read the room, and you got to know, come hell or high water, it's going to end by me. Whether we win by me or we die by me, if I'm the best player, the ball should be in my hands. That's what Michael did. That's what Kobe did. That's what all the greats wanted to do. That really disappointed me, and that is a founded criticism on him. However, at the same extent, you can't solely blame James Harden for the inability to get to a championship. There's many things that come into play, and that is Mike D'Antoni as well. I love Mike D'Antoni. I don't know if he's the right coach for us right now. His system of let's just shoot 63s and have no big guys and not play real great defense.
That's right there, a lack of leadership. Right there. James Harden, he's the leader on that team. Okay?
Agreed.
And Tony, he has a role to play, but normally, when you see the little C on the guy's jersey, that means he's the captain, and that James Harden, he's the guy that everybody is gonna follow. He's the Pied Piper on that team and has been for several years. Now, I posed a question to you. Do you think over the years with, CP3, Capella, and all the other guys that we've had on that team,
right?
Yeah. Did we have a team to go that was championship caliber? Have we had one championship since James Harden been there? Have we had championship teams?
I think the first year was CP3. I think that was a title team.
We had Dwight Howard here as well. And the thing is this here. This is the thing. This is my thing right here.
We went 41-41 in his last season. So I'm not going to say that he was a great addition.
That's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is leaders, and what I said about being selfish, you think about, all of the guys that has come into every league that wasn't able to be unselfish, and all of those guys had great stats, but None of them won championships. That's what I say, and I look at Michael Jordan when he first came in the league. He was a scoring machine, but until Michael Jordan became unselfish and knew that he was going to need a team around him to beat the Celtics, it was never going to work out for him. You know what I mean?
James knows he needs teammates. I think that's been his biggest thing. He has not had a superstar in their prime to play with.
How many guys like James Harden? Nobody likes him. Nobody like. I mean, how many good things you've heard about James Harden as a teammate?
I mean, the same amount that I've heard of bad ones. I haven't really heard much about him being a teammate, other than the people that he plays with tend to like him, aside from Chris Paul and Dwight Howard.
Look,
and that sounds more like an ego.
And you know what? Those two names right there are those two names mean more than any other name on the team.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I really think so. As far as those guys being stars, those guys having star powers, those guys being perhaps captains of that team.
Well, we know Dwight wasn't the captain of the team.
But what I'm saying is, I really feel like Dwight Howard, felt threatened when CP3 was there as far as being the captain of the team or not. It seemed like it was some rift there when I really think, on the court, if it ain't, it's almost like when I tell you can't make it in the locker room, you can't make it in the ring. It's one of those things in basketball as well. If those guys ain't gelling in the locker room, and if they ain't buddies, if they ain't cool somehow, take out the Dennis Rodman thing. Okay, if they ain't got some chemistry, just like, okay, let's just say, for instance, the Detroit Pistons bad boys today, with Isaiah Thomas and all those guys on there. Those guys, they lived and breathed together as far as, man, we finna go out here and work together, and at the end of the day, we all gonna be Hall of Famers. James Harden has not had one Hall of Famer that he could say, hey, man, we did this together. It's all been about James Harden. I know you don't want to recognize that, and I know you don't want to look at that.
I don't know if I agree with that. Because the man's an assist machine as well. That means he's sharing the ball. He leads the league in assists.
That may be true. You know what I mean? But but that stat is for James Harden.
See, that's unfair. Now you're saying if he passes the ball, it's about him.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Like you just said.
Like you just said, he has to, sometimes he don't want the ball. Sometimes he has to get the ball up. So
I'll say this. I do agree with you. I agree with you in this aspect. If we lose the game tonight, blow the team up. Just blow it up. Start from scratch. Let's figure this out.
No. Why after tonight?
Because tonight you would lose you would lose in the first round to an Oklahoma City Thunder team who doesn't have any business being in the playoffs, and you were one of the top 3 touted teams to go out there and win the championship in the West. That's why you blow it up.
Well, I didn't tout him that. Okay.
No, but everyone else did.
Guys, stick around. This thing's getting heated. Brad's getting hot. Look at his face. He's all red. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. You saw that. I hope you heard that commercial there. My masterclass going down tomorrow night, guys. Wrestling 101. If you want to know anything about it, go to realityofwrestling.com, get some information. We're going to be doing something really, really cool tomorrow night. as far as watching some of reality wrestling's finest, and I'm getting you guys to help me critique it as far as do's and don'ts, what not to do as far as that goes, as well as I think we're going to be watching one of Charlotte Flair's matches with one of the NXT students down there, not NXT students, but NXT talent, but just showing you the difference between what it looks like to work on a professional level, as well as what it looks like when you are trying to come up, when you're trying to figure out what to do in a match, how to look in a match. And for Charlotte Flair to be in the ring, but who was it? Man, I can't remember who it was. I was supposed to do this last week, but something came up. But just to show you the contrast of, like I say, someone on a C class and someone on a A plus level in the same ring together, and that's something that I really think you guys could get a lot out of. You up and coming, want to be professional wrestlers. Learning that little bitty small insight and seeing it is so very important. So guys, go to realityofwrestling.com and, jump on board. I'm going to be kicking off tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Get some, want some, sucker. Hey, I see somebody out there tell me they bought Ghost of Tsushima. And man, if you're liking it, boom, give me a little comment there, man. Because definitely the game, I took it on the road with me. This week we had the pay-per-view, the big payback down in Florida at the Thunderdome, and I took the PS4 with me. I had to bargain with my son, because he want that new Madden 21. So I said, I got it for you if you let me take the PS4 with me on the road. You know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, Dad, it's cool. So I took the PS4 with me, man, and hooked it up at the hotel and played the final episodes. I think I got like four more missions to finish before I finished the game. But I played it at the hotel in my room at the Hyatt there at the airport, man. I got a television on the wall that's so big. It's like huge, like 60 or something like that, right? And I got a chance to play Ghost almost in like life size. It was so cool, man. So definitely, man, if you guys out there, I think I'm going to do like a review or something on Ghost of Tsushima and, actually play a little bit of it and, just let you guys actually see exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe you too will be a Tsushima. Actually, on the second part, they talking about it getting ready to come out, and man, just the graphics on it, everything is just so real and up close and personal. So I cannot wait to actually. Well, any tips on Ghost of Tsushima? Hey, man, I can't give you no tips, man. My son Mike can give you some tips because he went through it very, very, very quick. But he remembered every stance, every style, every artifact. He remembered everything about the game, from memory after just playing it one time. So, but my thing is, I played it just so I could play it again. I'm going to play it. You figure out, how to do certain things. Second time around, you go through it a little bit better. Third time, you get a little. It's going to take a while before we get to where I ultimately want to be with Ghost of Tsushima. But definitely, it's an awesome, awesome game.
Now, you're talking about you took it on the road to the pay-per-view last week. Now we do have a pay-per-view this week from AEW. It's AEW's All Out pay-per-view. And there was I want to talk just to you about two matches and just kind of get your thoughts and opinions on this upcoming AEW pay-per-view. By the way, they are letting fans in to this show in limited numbers, I believe 10 to 15% capacity. So there will be fans in attendance at Daly's Plaza out there in, I think it's Jacksonville, Florida, where they emanate from. But the two matches I want to ask you about. Main event, MJF is challenging for the AEW championship against Jon Moxley, who's the current champion. I've heard you in the past on this show talk highly of MJF from a character standpoint, and we know what Jon Moxley can do inside the squared circle. What do you think about that as the main event for this show?
Well, I mean, I'm very high on MJF as far as his character, man, is him being able to know exactly what the business means as far as making people feel a certain way. This kid, to the point to where I think he was even rude at autograph signings. You know,
Flipped off a 7-year-old or something.
yeah, he flipped off a 7-year-old kid. You know, and he's like, you know, I'm in character, bro. You know what I mean? I'm you know, just the gimmick. You know, and me personally, would I tell him to dial that back and say, "Hey, bro, come on"? You know what I mean? You know, you got to know when to turn it on and turn it off. You know, these people paying your bills. Of course, I would say that up to MJF, but seeing how far he's willing to go and how far he's willing to take, making people feel a certain way about him, it means a whole lot. I bring up a good friend of mine thinking about MJF, JBL. I remember JBL. They told JBL, "Hey man, we're going to be making a T-shirt out of for you, and we're going to be sending you some designs." And JBL goes, "No, you're not going to be making a T-shirt of me." And they go, "Why not?" He said, "Because I'm a heel. You know, heels don't sell T-shirts. You know." And that right there it's a true statement to what the game really means to certain people when they go out there and do it. MJF is one of those guys. John Moxley, MJF, I think that'll be good. There again, MJF, his name got there well before, you know, his wrestling ability and who he was and what he brought to the game as far as a professional wrestler. I just knew who MJF was. I just knew those synonyms, those names, those letters. And then for MJF to have made it that far without showing me anything in the ring tells me a whole lot about this dude. He can figure that part out later. You know,
You got the hard part down.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, he's got the hard part down.
Right.
And so me personally, I'm thinking about you know, highly anticipating seeing that match and how it go down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he is somebody who, and I think you and I were talking about this maybe a couple weeks back, but MJF, when you ask me what's my favorite MJF match, I don't have one. I can't remember one match that he's had, but I do know, like you said, I'm invested in his character when I see it on screen. When I see him talking, I get engaged in what he's saying. And I mean, I'm giving him the desired reaction, like, get this guy off my screen. So, you know, I think that him versus Moxley, that's going to be a challenge for him from a how to implement that character in a main event championship match on pay-per-view. You know, it's one thing to be the honky tonk man, right? It's one thing to have that over the top character. It's another to main event for the world title. So to see him try to balance those two within the confines of that match, that's what I'm going to be interested to see.
No, I'm gonna be interested in watching his work.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to be able to bring that to the table, man. You got to be able to, you know, you got to be able to go out there and do both. You can't be, you know, one dimensional in this business. You got to be definitely 3-dimensional. You got to be able to go out there and work in the ring, you know, backstage promos, as well as from a, you know, marketing standpoint. You got so many things you got to be thinking about, because you're trying to motivate fans there again to love you or hate you. And if you're in between, we always tell those guys, man, if you're in between and you walk out the curtain and the fans don't, you don't get that pop, you know, and then, you know, or if the fans just say nothing, you know, those are the two places, you want to be on one side. You don't want to be on the other. You don't want to be in the middle. And that's what I think a guy like MJF brings to the table, man, as well as, like I say, John Moxley, because I got to give it to Mox, man. He's radical. He's different. And he doesn't do a whole lot. You know,
but he's over.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm serious. And that's what I say. That's what I be trying to teach and talk about when I you know, preach about this stuff. And some guys get it, some guys don't. But when I look at John Moxley, he doesn't do anything, but he does it everything pretty good. You know what I mean? He's a different kind of guy in this business where everyone is doing the exact same thing, to be able to find out how to do it a little bit different than everyone else is doing, it's an art. And that's what guys like John Moxley brings to the table. He's not a guy that's going to go do a backflip off the top rope through the table outside the ring. It's not going to happen. But if you want to see a guy go out there and just, whoop someone's ass like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Moxley's your guy. So that lets me know, it lets the world know that wrestling and making people feel a certain way is definitely still alive. And that's what I think people are going to be anticipating with that match, MJF and Moxley, more than anything, man. Man, this is going to be a good fight, because I don't remember MJF doing any flips or anything like that either. So, guys, there it is. Stick around. We got some more for you. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Little note, September 12th, guys, going to be back in the drive-in at Reality of Wrestling, 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway, Booker T. World's Gym Arena. We're going to be doing it and doing it big this time, guys. There again, last time we had a couple of technical difficulties, but it still turned out to be something special, and we definitely going to make sure we get all the bugs and all the kinks out to make sure this time it goes off without a hitch. Hopefully, you know what I mean? Let's pray the weatherman is right.
I know, that's the only one.
I'm serious, man. But guys,
have you ever heard of this show? There's a show called Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's with Larry. Okay, so there's an episode where he's a big golfer, and there's an episode where the weatherman keeps saying it's gonna rain. And then he cancels his golf plans, and then it's sunny the whole day. So so he started thinking, man, this might be a conspiracy. Maybe the weatherman, because he golfs at the same club I golf at, maybe he's saying it's going to rain so he could have the course to himself, and that's what ended up happening. So that's
man, I mean that is a good idea right there. No, man, September 12th, man, is going down. We're gonna be back in the drive-in Reality of Wrestling. It's gonna be an awesome show. I'm so looking forward to going out and creating some more magic and seeing exactly how far we could take this thing. See how far we could take Texas City and the Houston and surrounding areas as far as bringing wrestling back and keeping it exciting. First and foremost, Reality Wrestling is back up on YouTube. So, hey guys, thank y'all for pushing the YouTube channel to what we at right now, Bradley?
364, 364?
Yeah, 365,000 views. So guys, subscribers. So man, we appreciate you guys, man. We appreciate you guys for taking us to that next level. We're trying to get up to 400,000. We're trying to take the YouTube channel to 1 million. And right now, guys, we're blowing out every independent wrestling company out there. So we want to thank you guys. We're blowing them out. We're just beating them like they stole something. But go ahead.
We're at 365,986. So we're just 14 away from 366.
Let's call it 366. We're at 366,000. Hey guys, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for putting us over the hump. And we move it. You know what, man? It's moving rapidly too. And man, there again, we appreciate you guys. What's the other match you was talking about?
So the other match going down at All Out that I think that we should spend a little time discussing. Chris Jericho, the Ayatollah of rock and roller. He is taking on Orange Cassidy. And this is their third match, I think, that they've had with one another. They've been in a a feud for quite some time now. Even they had a debate a couple of weeks ago with Eric Bischoff moderating.
Yeah.
Funny. What do you think about Jericho at this stage in his career? Let me ask you this: should Jericho still be in the title picture, or do you want to see Jericho do stuff like this, where he's working with a bubbling talent, someone who's on the rise, that the internet really is behind and helping get them to the next level? Kind of what we were talking about earlier in this show.
Well, I think it's not going to hurt, Cassidy working with someone like Chris Jericho. There again, I don't know. I don't know what people think these days, but you should always want to, have your thinking cap on. You should always want to be trying to learn, man, how did this guy get to that level? What did he do to get to the level that he's at? Because he's living in a big house. I think he's got an elevator in it. And so I want one of those too. So that's me personally. That's the way I'm thinking when I'm working with one of these top guys. And hopefully these young cats start thinking that way too. There again, a guy like Orange Cassidy, I don't know a whole lot about him. Okay, first and foremost. I can't, document one Orange Cassidy match that I've seen, but I've seen him get in the ring and do some moves and do some stuff. I
dive to the outside with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah. I seen him do that, as well as Orange Cassidy. What I remember most about him is the jeans and the jacket.
Yeah.
And the shades.
Mm-hmm.
That right there tells me more than, most wrestlers tell me. His little gimmick right there, it has something. It says, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he seems to have something. And when guys like that come along, man, you gotta use them. You gotta know how to use them. And for him to come into AEW, get a rub, get put in that position to work with a guy like Chris Jericho. Hopefully he'll learn exactly what it means. I was listening to something JR said. He said, man, when I first saw Orange Cassidy, I looked at this guy. I was like, man, who's this guy? I mean, he's a jabroni. He should be, why is he here? He shouldn't even be, on the roster. That's what JR said on his podcast or something. I read it somewhere. And then he said, after, being around him for a minute, he goes, man, this guy's pretty good. And the reason I say that is because I remember when I first came to WWE, man, it was it's so striking to hear something like that. When I first came to WWE, and Earl Hebner, referee Earl Hebner, we were on the road at one of the house shows, and we had been working after, and I had been there for a while at that point. And Earl Hebner, he came up to me and he goes, hey, Buck, man, I just want to tell you something, man. He said, man, I don't know what all the hype was about you when you first got here, man, because I didn't see it in you at all. He said, man, I didn't know what it was. He said, but you know what? Now I do. And sometimes you got to be around people to understand it, and I say that because, when I used to watch Matt Hardy, and I used to say, man, what is this guy, man? Who is this guy, man? Look like he got two left feet, man. And I'm like, this guy's, he can't be that over, And then I remember working with Matt Hardy on a house show one time, and the crowd was going so freaking crazy. And I go, wow, now I realize why this guy's so over. You just never know it sometimes until you're up close and personal and see it, with without having blinders on or anything like that. You're forced to actually see what the guy is really all about. And then they go out and perform, and then you almost go, okay, maybe I was wrong. And I've been wrong, many, many times, even in reality of wrestling, when I see a guy, Gustavo Mendoza, case in point, I say, man, this kid he's nowhere, near going to make it on the roster. I don't even know why he's at reality of wrestling, and he become, the longest rating, reality wrestling champion that we had, so it's, you just never know until you up close and personal with someone. And, a lot of these guys, just like MJF, like Orange Cassidy, they got something. And it's up to us to enhance it and bring it out and make you guys see it even more. I'm talking about in HD. So I like it. I like the pairing. He definitely there again. He's going to get a whole lot out of just being in the ring with someone like Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and I liked everything that you said there, especially about that. To me, if Earl came up to me and said that, I feel kind of hot about it. Be like, what do you mean? I was the WCW World Champion.
Well, I didn't. Oh, man. Me and Earl, man, we best of friends, man. I mean, we really tight.
Now, is he as good a referee as all of us think that he is? So all the fans, to me, it's like when you talk about referees, you talk about Earl, Nick Patrick, Mike Chioda. Those are the first three names that come to mind about Charles Robinson, about guys who are just great.
I don't think
you don't think about Charles. But what do you think about Earl? Was he as good as we wrestling fans make him out to be?
Nah, man. Best of the business. A guy that knew exactly what to be at the right time all the time. So, nah, man. I mean, I have nothing but the highest of respect for Earl Hebner and Dave as far as what those guys brought to the business, man. They definitely Hall of Famers as far as I'm concerned, as far as referees go, because that job right there, it takes a different type of person, because especially coming from that era that he came from, because the referee was so instrumental in a lot of those matches. Most famous one, for me was, where did you get the plastic surgery, brother?
How much did it cost, brother?
How much did it cost you, brother? That stuff was real to me, man.
It was great too.
That stuff was so real, man. When I just thinking about that segment,
right? Looking at them both,
How much for the plastic surgery, man?
And they look just alike too,
bro. I'm gonna tell you, man. If that ain't great television, I remember that like it was yesterday, man. Hulk was so, taking it back and so beat down after getting his back turned on, like that. How much for the plastic surgery, brother?
Oh, Saturday night's main event, him, Hogan and Andre for the title. Yeah, just one of those classic times where when you think about it, it's a really cheesy idea. Like, hey, these guys are twins, but it works.
Man, but it works, man. It's crazy, man. Like Diego De La Cruz coming out with the
accordion.
It works, man.
It's so stupid, but it works.
Anytime you get something that works, man, you run with it, man. But
I'm glad you said that, because you know what else works?
What's that?
A face mask. And a face mask can help prevent you from catching this terrible COVID during this pandemic. It can help prevent it. And we want to talk to you about our favorite face masks, Boomer Naturals. Let's check it out.
Hey, Brad, one of the biggest changes we're all dealing with right now is wearing a mask, and not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Natural 3-layer comfortable and highly breathable mask. These come in sizes for adults, teens, and children, and are in stock and be shipped to you quick.
Yeah, Book, one of the reasons they're so highly protective is because of the nano silver technology that's literally woven right into the fabric. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting into the nose and mouth, and that's what we want right now. It's the best protection out there. Boomer also offers the popular nano silver neck gaiters. That's a mask that'll cover your neck and face. Another great thing is that Boomer will donate one face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities, helping tens of thousands of Americans in need. And I got to say, I love that.
Yeah, order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code Booker and save 20%. That code Booker at boomernaturals.com. Get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Just something just popped up, man. The Rock, man, his wife and kids tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that right there is definitely eye-opening experience, man. Just let you know it touches every corner, man. Every corner, man. You can't get away from this thing, especially if you're not due diligent about hygiene and trying to make sure you literally cross every T and dot every I every second of the day. And I tell you, man, I've been so blessed being, on the road for the last couple of weeks, getting on the plane. And I'm so glad I'm one of these guys, man, that just isolation doesn't bother me a whole lot.
Yeah.
Being around no one, it doesn't affect me as much as I think it would affect, a lot of people. And so when I'm on the road, when I go on the road, literally I'm around zero. I mean, every now and then I see one of my boys and it's a fist bump or whatever, elbow bump. But I'm in my hotel room. I go get my food. I'm eating by myself. Those 3 days are the longest 3 days, that I could imagine really, going through right now. But it's worth it for me to just think, man, when I come home, I'm okay, even though I'm getting tested every week, but I'm like hand sanitizing, every minute, every time I go in the bathroom, I'm washing, for a minute,
Right. No, yeah.
Before I'm wearing that mask on a plane on a weekly has been something that I hate it, but it's something that I know I got to do because the guy next to me is not wearing his. He's got it halfway down. It's like that. So, speedy recovery, man, to The Rock and his family.
There it is, right there. The story.
As quickly as possible, man. Hopefully, it won't affect them too much. Seriously, slow them down.
Yeah, he opened up in a video sharing the shocking news, calling their diagnosis one of the most challenging and difficult things that he's ever had to go through, mainly due to the fact that his entire family contracted the virus. So it seems like they're through the worst of it, which is great though. No fever right now, but he said my number one priority has always been to protect my family and my loved ones. I wish it was only me that tested positive. It was my entire family and it was a kick in the gut. We in a family are good. We're on the other end of it, no longer contagious. Thank God we're healthy. So it looks like he's going to pull out of this thing okay. But yeah, that's frightening. And that to me is like my biggest thing is like, well, I'm young and I'm thinking, although anything can happen, that I would most likely be okay. But I have family members obviously who have already gone through the thing, and it gets scary. It gets real scary. So shout out to The Rock. I hope since they're on the other side of it, looks like he's going to be good. But again, we were just talking about face masks, and then this news popped up. I mean, those things really do help. Like I know that it's an ad right now that we're doing a read for, but I wear mine every time I leave the house, and that
right there make the mask even more important,
yeah.
And that wasn't something that was just planted. I mean, I'm just scrolling through and I see it, and boom, it just happened to be right after the Boom Naturals drop, but it just
promo code Booker.
Yeah, promo code Booker. But it just goes to show how important it really is to try to do your part. And I know The Rock, man, he's a busy dude, man. He's out there and he's working. He's on the set. I'm sure on the set where he's working at, they're getting tested.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't catch every one of them, man. One might slip through the crack. Guy might get tested and then go somewhere that night and then come in tomorrow. Bang. That's why I say I quarantine myself. I'm wise enough to say, hey, man, don't do nothing, don't touch nothing, But some people, man, what was basketball just first got started, got one, go to Atlanta, he go to Magic City.
Lou Williams, he was hungry. He said he's
hungry. Get something, and if you don't get the COVID, he might get something else.
Speaking of The Rock, there was something that I saw with him yesterday that made me excited. He shared this photo on Instagram right here, this one on the right, and he was with all the XFL helmets. He said XFL helmets just came in. And if you look, there to the top left, right here, right above his head, that's still the XFL Houston Roughnecks helmet. So I'm excited. I think that we still got the team here in the H. And if we got the Roughnecks, man, 5-0, best team in the history of the XFL. We better run that back.
Nah, man. Well, the thing is, man, I don't think the teams lost a whole lot of money. You know,
Right.
I think the league pretty much lost out on this thing more than more than anything. I think the league should be still intact as far as the teams. So I'm looking forward to the the city to get back on the map, man, because we was about to get a championship. We was about to get a championship, man. We think about the Rockets breaking us one. We think about James Harden breaking us one, but it ain't happening. But we show.
Still got this one though. We still got that one.
Yeah. We got that one, and I love it. You know that you know what that team represented. Unlike
Don't even say that. Don't even say it. But
you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb. We winning tonight.
No. Why did you say that? No. Don't say that. Don't say that because this is
we're winning tonight by 20. Man, we gonna go out and win the championship. All right, I'm just putting it out there. I'm gonna say it right there. James Harden, go out and just jack up at least 53s tonight. All right, don't think about nobody. You know what I mean? You remember how Mr. 3000, you know, they said when he went into the Hall of Fame, you know, Bunkhouse Borelli was going to be the guy that was going to call him up. And he goes, who the hell is Bunkhouse Borelli? And he goes, that's my point. That's what James Harden is. Oh, man. Brad, you done froze on me, man. Don't let this happen. No. Shoot. Hey, guys, we're going to have to take a break and come back. We have a technical issue again. We'll be back in a minute.
There we go.
Got us back.
We're back. Yes. We lost it just for a second. But Bunkhouse Borelli.
Yeah, I was talking about Bunkhouse Borelli, Mr. 3000, when they said when Bernie Mac was going to get called up to Cooperstown, the person that was going to be calling him up was Bunkhouse Borelli. And and Bernie Mac goes, who the hell is Bunkhouse Borelli? And he goes, that's my point. That's what James Harden is, man. If he ever got the call up, to get put into the Hall of Fame, ain't none of his friends gonna be there because he ain't got none.
But you know what? You did say something earlier that I wanted to point out that I disagree with about Patrick Ewing, right?
Yeah.
Just because you don't win a championship doesn't mean that you're still not discussed. Because there's been a lot of great players who haven't won the championship, but we still hold them in high regard, whether that be the mailman, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson. Most likely Chris Paul is going to retire without a championship.
I'm going to tell you right now, okay, all of those guys.
Carmelo.
All those guys you just named, especially Allen Iverson, if he didn't have a criminal record, nobody be talking about him at all. All right.
Oh, Iverson was legendary. He changed the game.
Karl Malone. When the last time you heard somebody talk about him? Don't nobody talk about these guys.
Charles Barkley?
Say again.
No one talks about Charles Barkley?
Well, Charles Barkley, he's still out there. He's still relevant. He's still out there relevant in different terms other than his basketball. That's why people still talk about Charles Barkley. But if Charles Barkley didn't have a spot at the table, no one would talk about Charles Barkley. No one would talk about his stats or anything. I'm gonna tell you, nobody talks. If you're not a winner, nobody really cares, man. Why do you think the Detroit Pistons people talk about those guys? Because they were winners. You know, why do you think they talk about the Bulls? Because they were winners. Why do you think they talk about, the Patriots? Because they're winners. They don't, no one follows a beaten champion. They said that about George Foreman when he lost against Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle. Okay? So just follow my lead on this, bro. Let's not go back to that conversation because you have to win, as far as those guys go. They can't help you. You know what I mean? They can't. So let's get off of that. All right.
Well, I want to get off it, but we got to take a break here in just a moment. But I want to talk to you about winning and losing the wars. You were part of the Monday Night Wars. The rumor is that the Wednesday Night Wars might be coming to an end. I want to get your reaction, Book, after the break.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityandwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back. You inside the Hall of Fame. So Bradley, you had something you want to talk about as far as the Wednesday Night Wars?
Yes. So I was on Twitter earlier on the internet, and I saw a report from a guy who seems to be rather reliable when it comes to certain information coming out here. And I want to bring up exactly what he said. Is at WrestleVotes. I see his stuff out there sometimes. This guy seems to get things right. And this is what he said. He said, over the past month or so, there's been discussions regarding NXT moving off of Wednesday nights. There's no imminent decision, however, but the talks are still ongoing. The numbers over the next 2 weeks might have some impact on their decision. So NXT's been on Tuesday. They were on Tuesday last night. They had the Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match for the NXT title, and they're going to be on Tuesday again this upcoming week. They're saying if these numbers look better than what they've looked on Wednesday, they might move away from that night. Do you think it's better for the wrestling industry for these shows, NXT and Dynamite, to be on separate nights, or should they remain in battle with each other week to week?
I can only speak if it was me, if it was my promotion, and if I was running it. Being on a separate night would be something that I would be looking to do, just because I'm not looking to compete with anyone for ratings or anything like that. Even if it was reality or wrestling, I wouldn't want to, have to compete if I didn't have to.
Right.
Just because I think it's enough room out there for everyone. And I think the competition is good. I think at the end of the day, we all win if we really, get behind our product and push it the proper way. Me personally, Tuesday night fights was something I always loved on ESPN. On USA Tuesday night fight. Man, I used to love it. Even on ESPN, they had Tuesday night fights as well. And Sean O'Malley, man, I remember that like it was just yesterday. That right there is a great night because ain't nobody got a whole lot to do. I know when I turned it on just last night and I watched it, and I didn't even know it was coming on, and I didn't even realize it was Tuesday. And I go, wow! And then I realized, oh man, it's Tuesday night. Once I got off into it, and the addition of Wade Barrett, it woke me up too. It made me. I tell you, man, I watched it totally different. I think just because of listening to Wade Barrett and the commentary team, they brought me inside the ring like I haven't been brought into the ring in a long time. So big props to Wade Barrett stepping back into the game and being so astute as far as being able to sit at the commentary table and make you feel a certain way, because that's what the business, there again, it really is. It's just like one of those old boxing matches when you didn't have a television, you just had the radio, You had to, the commentator had to make you feel like you was in Madison Square Garden, and you sit at that little box, man, jumping up and going. It's several people around that box. I mean, it's no different now. It's no different now, and I think, being on Tuesday night will definitely be great, but the war still will rage on.
Right.
I don't think it's going to stop or anything like that. It's only going to get bigger, hopefully, because it's going to be more viewers over here. It's going to be more viewers over here. It's only going to start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think there again, man, once that happens, it's going to be like a Molotov cocktail about to explode. For both companies, I really feel that way, because WWE, man, we have an abundance of talent. Okay. We don't get a chance to see all of it, of course. And I think that's what's going to really fire off everything, is having a reason to say, man, we got to start using all of our guns, man. We got to go to all of our resources. I think that's when things get really, really interesting. And I say that because WCW, back in the day, man, we took the reins, and WWE had to retool. They had to rethink everything. And then I started watching it a whole lot more, and I was like, man, I was watching The Undertaker, and I was watching Triple H, I was watching Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels. I was watching these guys go out there, and Monday nights, man, it turned into a real war to war. Those guys went out there and turned up the heat, so high, man, you thought it was a flamethrower, every week. And they wouldn't, stop it, man. They were just adding more fuel to the fire every Monday, even to the point to where, they showed up at WCW in a tank. And that right there really, was the beginning of the end, I think. And so I think for everyone, this Tuesday night war, I think it'll be, this war between WWE on Wednesday nights, I think it only get bigger if, WWE was on Tuesday night and AEW was on Wednesday night. I think it's only going to get bigger. Head to head, just think about what happened when WCW, went head to head with WWE. What it did was, man, we took the 83 weeks, but man, we were like hemorrhaging money. The money was, can you imagine, those big arenas every week? And then again, think about the head-to-head there for a minute when TNA did it against WWE.
Yeah, that one didn't work out well for them.
I mean, they did it. They was able to, sustain for about 4 weeks. The money, like Tiger Conway told me when I went to the Global Wrestling Federation, the money was gone. I'm serious. So that head-to-head thing for both companies, for AEW, I think it'll be good. For WWE, I think it'll be good. For the business, I think it'll be good, and I think it'll explode. I think it'll make everything get bigger, even more so.
Yeah, that's if it happens. But if it does happen, I agree with you. I think that having the ability for fans like you and I to be able to watch both shows without missing anything. You know what I mean? That's what I remember being, it was right toward the end of the Monday Night War, but I was a channel flipper, at the end there. And then I would miss this, and then I'd go back, and then I'd miss that. And man. And we didn't have DVRs or anything back then. Yeah. So unless I had a blank VHS to get happen, I missed whatever happened. And I just had to figure it out, the next week. We didn't even have the internet. So I had to figure it out next week. So I think it would be a good move for them, and it would just be able to showcase, like you said, more talent and give more talent an opportunity to get over in front of a larger audience rather than trying to split the attention of one person. I think it's good because whenever, though, you have that more time, you start seeing matches. Like I remember when they did the brand split for SmackDown the first time around. That gave so many people the opportunity to get on television who didn't have that opportunity before. I think when you're face-to-face with somebody, you're just going to put out all killer. You're going to put out your top guys. I got to win the segment. I got to win the rating. Whenever you're not worried about that, you have the ability to showcase the lesser-known guys. There was a match on a SmackDown one time that was Booker T. It was a fatal four-way. It was Booker T. versus Kenzo Suzuki versus Paul Burchill versus Rene Dupree. That was a fatal four-way. I don't know if you remember that, but
No.
if y'all were still going head-to-head, no chance 3 of the 4 of those guys aren't getting on television.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that you had the brand split, you had the ability, because you weren't in head-to-head competition with somebody else, to showcase more talent. That's my point.
I mean, well, I look at it like this. You know, I love watching PBC and I love watching Top Rank. Okay, I mean, if PBC got a show on, Top Rank is not going to have a show on. If Top Rank got a show on, PBC is not going to have a show going. It's just the way the business has worked for so many years, and it makes you tune in to both because they know the audience want to see both. So if I could see both on different nights, I'm going to support both of them. And the numbers are probably going to grow because there again, you're not channel surfing. That number isn't moving up and down and whatnot, you know, as far as the ratings go and whatnot. So me personally, I think it's a great idea if they do go to Tuesday night. Me personally, I had no problems even when NXT was on the network only because it made it feel like it was a form league for the WWE. Now the NXT seems like it's a brand competing with WWE as well because you look at NXT totally different than you look at Raw and SmackDown. If that's not direct competition, you know what is, you know. So I don't know. Maybe it's designed for that, you know. But there again, I think the more the merrier. You know, bring them all, man. Bring them all in. You know, I mean, I see a lot of these independent companies. You know, WWE has finished showing on the network. You know, I hope they don't forget about this small little organization down in Texas. It's called Reality of Wrestling. The guys, man, they don't, you know, pack a big punch or anything like that, but they work real hard for the artists. And the show, man, the show is pretty awesome. Got a show coming up on the 12th. The next drive-in at Reality Wrestling. Make sure you guys, if you are anywhere in the area, Houston surrounding area, League City, guys, come out and check it out. Texas City, come out and check it out. We're going to be doing it big on the 12th, and hopefully you guys will love it and come out the next month, and so forth. And so, hey guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're getting close to wrapping this thing up, man. We got to give you a little bit more, though. How you feeling, Brad? You all right? You look perplexed.
No, I am well. Oh, sorry. I'm just doing some stuff on the back end here, and I was confused.
Wondering, I was like, man, you look perplexed.
I was perplexed for a momentarily perplexed. We teased at the top of the show, though, we were going to talk a little UFC, and I think that we should. The first thing that I want to bring up to you, though, was a breaking news story that I just saw during the break. So we know that on September, I believe it's 19th, so not this Saturday, not next, but the one after, we're going to see a fight that we've wanted to see for several years now. We're going to get to see Colby Covington taking on Tyron Woodley. This fight was supposed to happen September 2018. It didn't. Now these two guys are both coming off a loss, but here's the breaking news about that fight is I just found out that a man named Jorge Masvidal has been training with Tyron Woodley for this fight. I think that's interesting for several reasons. One, because we know that Colby Covington just left American Top Team. Of course,
No, he got kicked out. ATT.
He got kicked out of American Top Team. I know that Jorge Masvidal is very close with that camp. And then I find it interesting that they're both in the same weight class, and Jorge Masvidal knocked out in grand fashion Tyron Woodley's best friend and Ben Askren. But I do find it interesting that they're training together. What do you make of that? Do you think that's good for Tyron Woodley?
Well, no, I think it's good. I mean, all three of these guys go back. They're all training partners.
Yeah,
with American Top Team. Woodley branched off and started his own American Top Team, and it's part of American Top Team, of course. So it's not a far stretch of the imagination or anything like that these guys are training together. At the end there, Colby Covington, and he had a lot of heat in that gym. He brought a lot of attention due to his antics. And the thing is, man, that's in any gym, man. If you can't make it in the locker room, you ain't gonna make it in the ring. It comes back to that right there. And if you're doing certain things, just for instance, in WWE, see certain guys do certain things, and we don't see them anymore. You don't know how to make it in the locker room. You don't know how to make it in the ring. So for me, Jorge Masvidal definitely can, perhaps, I don't know, teach Tyron Woodley some new tricks or anything like that, but he definitely can push him to the point to where, he's going to go out there and look at that fight a whole lot different. Having a guy like Masvidal in your training camp, being Tyron Woodley, is saying that he's taking this thing very, very serious, because I know that this could be my last fight in the UFC. They've been trying to get me out of there for the longest, but I know if I go out here and beat the brakes off Colby Covington, I'm still relevant. You know what I mean? My name is still going to be in the picture no matter what. They can't kick me out until I go out there and really lose in grand fashion. One fight is not, it's just not enough to do it with the Usman thing. It just wasn't big enough. But I think if he go out here and lose to Colby Covington, he's going to be on the skid, man. He's going to be in Bellator. He's going to be out of the UFC. And this fight is definitely it's a setup. It's a test. It's definitely a test for Woodley. And whether he pass or fail, it's going to be up to him. And for him to bring someone in when he got his own American Top Team, his own gym, and you're willing to bring in someone like Jorge Masvidal and say, hey, man, come work with me, bro. Come get me right. Come push me like nobody else is going to push me. And I need that. Wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, because I know I'm not going to do it on my own. And these guys just, following me, they're not going to do it either. I need somebody from outside coming in to really manufacture this thing to make me feel like nobody. So I like it. I like Jorge Masvidal working with and then there again, if Tyron Woodley do go out there and get the win, it's going to be like Apollo Creed training Rocky Balboa. You know what I mean? you feel me?
Yeah, it's a great example.
You remember the line that he said, we'll do it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. You remember that? That's what this thing is about. This thing is about there is no tomorrow.
Right.
But T1, T-Run Woodley. That's what I'm going to call it.
T-Run. Yeah, I think that I'm excited for the fight, first and foremost. Something about me still thinks it's not going to happen. I don't know why. I just had this thing in the back of my head that one of these guys are going to fall out before the fight happens. I hope that I'm wrong, though, because I want to see it. I think that Jorge Masvidal, you're right.
Woodley can't pull out.
Yeah, Woodley can't.
No,
but I'm saying I just don't know. Something's going to happen. I just have that gut feeling. But I hope that I'm wrong. But my thing is this, is if Tyron loses, you say he's out of UFC, Bellator might be a destination, or he can go to his rap career, go to his acting career, transition out of this game. Transition out of this game. Well, what happens if Colby Chaos Covington loses? That would be coming off a loss to Kamaru, who's the current champion, and a loss to Tyron Woodley, the former champion. What would that do to his career?
He's done. All of the hype is dead. The hype is as you see right now, a lot of wind has gone out of the sails since Colby Covington lost to Usman. I mean, we don't hear about Colby Covington a whole lot, perhaps because his jaw was broken. That might have a little bit to do with it. He's been still posting stuff and whatnot, and he's still, wearing the MAGA hats and whatnot. But the wind has gone out of the sail of Colby Covington. And there again, if he lose one more fight, I don't think, Donald Trump Jr. is going to be showing up to see him. I'm serious. I just don't. I just feel like he's
a loser.
He's back here. He's back. Oh, he's a bum. He's backed his way into a corner.
He loses again. Trump's gonna be like he's gonna pretend like he doesn't know who he is.
I don't even know him.
I never know you're talking about. Never heard of him.
I never met him. I never met him before. He's definitely gonna be one of those type of. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's Trump Jr.
Oh man. Wait, I think
we got photos of him at the fight. You know what I mean? In videos together and everything. I never met him.
But I think that it's a must-win for both guys. That's why it's such a compelling fight. It was compelling 2 years ago. It's even more compelling when there's no title on the line because it's almost career versus career.
No, you know what? They got the BMF. This should be a loser leave town.
They should. Let's just
I'm tell you right now. Yeah, man, that thing will blow up. They'll sell so many tickets if they were to make this a loser leave the UFC, match. I mean, that's the stipulation. That's the contract, and have a contract signing for it and everything.
To the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
The whole WWE, turn the table over, have a fight at the contracts, everything. They really blow this thing up.
Like write the promo for Tyron. So he flips the table over. He starts saying, "There is no tomorrow."
Exactly.
There is no tomorrow.
That is. It writes itself. You know what I mean? There is no tomorrow. Man, we got to get it on. You can't get along. My mama said it, man. You can't get along. You got to get along. You got to get it on.
You got to get it on. By the way, before we got to go to break, we have 2 minutes. Did you hear? So Sylvester Stallone, speaking of Rocky, he's doing a director's cut of Rocky 4. So he's taken all the footage they shot for Rocky 4 and he's recutting the film in his vision. And one of the things that he's doing is he's cutting out the robot. Paulie's robot that he buys him in Rocky 4. Remember what I'm talking about? The big-headed robot? Robot's done. He's putting the robot on the shelf, cutting it completely out. I feel like you're tarnishing a legendary film by taking out the robot. What say you?
Maybe he's going to add something in.
What could he add in? I don't know. We don't know everything that was shot.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know exactly what was shot. We don't know exactly what was used, and for him to have the director's vision to go in there and recreate it and change a whole lot of things up, man. We don't know how that thing's going to look, but it might turn out to be better. The robot for me, it didn't add or take away anything as far as me wanting to watch the movie or me saying, man, I'm a fan of franchise, but I don't know. I'm not gonna miss the damn robot.
It's not the reason you watch it or not watch it, but I just wonder what they're gonna do to make it better. Because Rocky 4, I mean, that it's up there as one of the better Rocky movies. Drago,
but do you really think the robot is gonna add or take something away from it?
I'll miss how they.
Just think about this here. If Rocky wouldn't have said anything about the robot scene, you probably wouldn't even miss the robot.
I would have noticed the big-headed, out-of-date robot.
You probably would not have even missed that robot if he wouldn't have said something about it. Trust me.
You're right. Maybe you're right.
I'm serious, man. He's right there just in your head. You're just trying to find something. Hey, guys, stick around. Got a little bit more for you. Back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Hey, everybody, in the chat line, everybody commenting on, a lot of, not everybody. UFC is a hot topic right now. Brock Lesnar, hot topic. People want to know about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a draw, man. He's a draw wherever he goes. People gonna want to see Brock Lesnar. I think if you go to UFC, people want to see him. If you go fight, Bellator, Fedor, Emelianenko, people going to want to see that. If you go back to WWE, people, a lot of people going to be happy. A lot of people sad, as far as the WWE career.
They no. Anybody who
a lot of people hate on the part-time thing, right or wrong?
No, they do, but they do hate on it. They absolutely do, but they're lying to themselves. They like Brock Lesnar.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things. If when you're young, you don't realize how much you like something until you're older. And I think maybe that's it. Maybe it's one of those things with Brock Lesnar. But
if let me ask you this: if Brock doesn't, just say he said, "You know what? I did the WWE thing. I really enjoyed this last run. It's been 8 years, almost a decade. I want to move on to something else. Maybe something else in wrestling. Maybe MMA." What would you like if you're going to fantasy book Brock's next move? What would you like to see from the Beast incarnate?
Oh, man. Brock's done it all. UFC, what's there for him? That John Jones. That's a huge fight. Massive fight for John Jones, as well as Brock Lesnar. As far as the world go, I mean, we would love to see that matchup right there, just because it's such a, two different kinds of animals. You got Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar not the youngest guy on the block anymore either. I mean, we still look at Brock Lesnar and we see that beast. We see that animal because, he is an animal. He's one of a kind. But there again, Brock is getting up there in age. To step into a fight with John Jones, that's a chance, that's a risk, and there's the amount of money worth that risk you're about to take with your life. Okay, seriously. I was just watching on ESPN earlier. It was Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar went through hell in that fight, man. He went through hell. He took some big shots. He's come back and he's redeemed himself as far as getting back in there. Mark Hunt, whatnot. But Mark Hunt compared to John Jones at heavyweight, man, I don't know what that thing is going to look like. I don't know how that thing's going to play out. I don't know if that's a good idea for him. Then boom, you switch gears and you say, well, what if he goes to Bellator and get into a fight with Fedor Emelianenko? People still regard Fedor as the greatest combat heavyweight MMA fighter in the history of the game.
Yeah, I hear that out there a lot. I mean, he definitely deserves to be in the conversation.
He is.
He's in the conversation.
The thing is, Fedor made his career outside the UFC. A lot of people don't know as far as how great the guy has been throughout his career. People didn't see, the Kevin Randleman, Fedor Emelianenko fight, where he got dropped on his head and then get right back up and put a guy out. People don't know about a lot. I wouldn't say people don't. A lot of people don't know about Fedor and what he brings to the table, and what his standard and ranking is in the game among, the pundits as far as heavyweights go. He is literally looked at as the best that ever did this.
Do you agree with that, though? Do you think he's the best heavyweight of all time? Because here's my thing. My thing is this, is the UFC has always historically been the place where you house the best talent in the sport. It's like being the greatest player ever in the Canadian Football League's history. It's like, yeah, I mean, we could probably put you in the conversation, but most people are going to be like, well, he never played in the NFL, so he must not have been that great. I think that the casual audience member is going to say, well, if he wasn't in the UFC, how is he the greatest?
No, I mean, it's an argument there. It really is because, at the time when Fedor Emelianenko was, claiming, the stake as far as being the best out there, there's a lot of tough guys in the UFC that he never got a chance to fight.
Right.
There's a lot of guys that when, guys came from other organizations and they were really, tough guys and, they came to UFC, it was a totally different animal. So I think coming from that era, I think if we was talking about now, is all the elite fighters in the UFC, I would say no. And I would say, maybe he didn't have to come here, to be the best heavyweight of all times. But coming from the era that he did, I really think by the time he did start stepping up in competition, that's when he started losing. That's when he started getting knocked out. That's when bad things start happening.
Yeah, no, I think that you're absolutely right. But to focus back on Brock, look, if Brock said, hey, I'm going to fight Fedor, sure, I buy it. I'd be interested. I want to see it. Give it to me tonight, right? But the money fight is John Jones versus Brock Lesnar. And especially if they're doing Stipe Francis next, John just relinquished the light heavyweight championship. So he's not going to get the next immediate title shot. So why not make some major money? And for Brock, if Brock loses, he's already lost. What is it? It doesn't mean anything. They regard John Jones as the greatest MMA fighter of all time. Okay, you lost to the greatest of all time. You're 42. He's what, 33, 34. It's not like he doesn't have anything to lose is my point. But if Brock goes out there and he hands John Jones his first loss in his MMA career, legend.
It's not worth it, man. What's not worth it? You gotta pick your poison, man. You gotta pick your poison. Worth it? Brock Lesnar going out there and losing in grand fashion to John Jones. It means
nothing to him.
I think it does. Brock Lesnar.
For how long? 3 years?
Brock Lesnar, even the losses that he's taken in the UFC, trust me, not for 1 minute do I think that Brock Lesnar don't think about that all the time.
Oh, I'm sure that he does.
Brock Lesnar not a guy that want to go out there and lose. Brock Lesnar has picked his battles very, very carefully in the UFC as well. I mean, Frank Mir, of course, Frank Mir taught him a lesson in that first fight that don't walk in here and think you're just going to, run over someone. But I really think Brock Lesnar, has picked his poison very, very well. I think the toughest guy that, I could be wrong, but the toughest guy Brock Lesnar fought throughout his whole rise, he caught, it would probably be Shane Carwin,
Toughest guy he fought?
I think that would be the toughest guy. Brock Lesnar.
I'd say Kane.
No. I would say the toughest guy that Brock Lesnar fought in the UFC was Shane Carwin.
And he beat him.
No. What I'm saying is he beat him. And that's when Brock Lesnar was at a certain stage in his career. When Brock Lesnar, I feel like he could push himself, and that was before the diverticulitis or anything. That was before all of that. I think Brock Lesnar taking on a fight like with John Jones, I don't think it's a great matchup for him, as well as I don't think Brock Lesnar wants to go out there and lose. If Brock Lesnar is going to do anything, it's a great money fight out there waiting for him. And a smart choice would be Fedor Emelianenko.
But I think the
thing is,
the money's not the same. It's a money fight.
Wait a minute. Just think about it. Just think about what Kimbo Slice and Dada 5000 did right here in Houston. Sellout. Okay. Now you tell me, Fedor Emelianenko, the greatest of all time against Brock Lesnar, everybody in the combat world is going to want to see that fight.
No, people would want to see that fight, but people would want to see Jones and Lesnar more. It's way more to be more money.
Like I say, people may want to see Jones and Lesnar more. I say the smart thing for Brock Lesnar,
you're right,
is take Fedor Emelianenko and go out on the greatest high of beating the guy who's revered as the greatest of all time, not Judge Jones. Of course, it's beating Judge Jones would be great, but losing to Judge Jones would be a disaster. Going over, fighting against Fedor, winning that fight, walking away from this thing with a big bag, that's the choice I'm taking. I don't know about you, but that's the choice.
I don't know. By the way, shout out to Dada 5000. He hit me up the other day. He wanted to check on us after the storm. So shout out to Dada.
Dada checked on me, man. I appreciate Dada 5000. Everything the brother doing, man. The brother's got his own thing going on. And if you see it out there, support it.
Absolutely.
Get some props. But man, we got to roll up out of here, man. We got to roll out of here. There again, big show going down on the 12th. Anybody in the Houston, Texas City, League City, surrounding areas,
Galveston,
come on out and check out the drive-in show we're going to be doing on the 12th. It's going to be awesome. I just saw somebody in the chat line say, is Rex Andrews going to be there? People want to see Rex Andrews. Hey,
he might.
Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. It's going to be a great card, though. But we got to get up out of here right now. We won't see you guys next week on Monday, big holiday. But everybody out there, you be safe and take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Bradley, appreciate it again. We up out this mug.